All right, let's dive into a really unique perspective today. We're going to unpack a personal philosophy that honestly questions everything. The money we use, the society we live in, the whole shebang. It's this deep exploration really trying to understand that feeling of being controlled and maybe, just maybe figuring out how to break free from it.
So it all kicks off with this one powerful sentence. For money, I have to act good to others. Wow. I mean, that kind of hits you, right? It's that nagging feeling. Is my kindness real, or is it just a performance, a transaction to get what I need? And that right there, that's the seed, the starting point for a deep, deep distrust of the world.
And that's our goal for this explainer. We're just going to follow this person's train of thought, step by step. We'll see how they deconstruct the systems we all live in and what they try to build in their place. Look, this isn't about finding some single correct answer. It's about exploring a really compelling, super personal idea about what it means to be free.
So where does a worldview like this even begin? Well, it's interesting. It doesn't start with the big stuff, like governments or the economy. Nope. It starts with the most basic building block of society, other people, and how incredibly hard it can be to actually trust them.
And this gets right to the heart of the problem. If we have to act good to get money, then how do you ever know if someone's kindness is genuine, you know? It creates this constant doubt, this feeling that there might be something else going on behind that friendly smile. This is actually why the author says they prefer things like emails, because it creates a paper trail, some kind of proof in a world that feels like one big performance.
The author asks this question directly, so I'm going to pass it right on to you. Are you able to find or understand this? Have you ever felt that disconnect, that gap between how someone seems and what you suspect their motives might really be? Because that feeling right there is the fuel for this entire philosophy.
Okay, so let's see how this idea starts to scale up. The author takes this deep skepticism about people and starts applying it to bigger things, the structures that shape our lives. I mean, if you can't trust one-on-one interactions, what does that say about the big institutions we're all a part of?
And that brings us to the next logical question, right? Then, why have society at all? Why school, college, the office? This isn't just about being contrary, you know? It's a genuine question about the social contract we've all kind of signed without reading the fine print. What are we really getting out of all this?
And here's the conclusion they come to. From this point of view, these institutions, well, they're a one-sided bargain. They pile on more and more work, but without really understanding you, the individual. And through it all, it feels like the main goal is just collecting a ton of money. The whole system just feels unbalanced, impersonal. Okay, so we've seen the critique of people and we've seen the critique of institutions, but what's the core principle that ties it all together? What's the one big idea underneath everything? Well, it boils down to something pretty radical. This idea of who, if anyone, has the right to control the absolute basics of life.
And here's a massive point in this philosophy. Money is just a number. So who gave anyone the right to control innocent species by money? See, money isn't viewed as this neutral tool we use to trade. No, it's seen as an artificial system of control. Just numbers on a screen used to have power over people. And that leads to the big question, who decided that was okay?
And this idea, it goes way beyond just money. The author argues that no one has the right to control these fundamental things: money, food, water, air, land, fire, even marriage, education, and love. This isn't really a political statement. It's deeper than that. It's a philosophical stance on what it actually means to be truly, fundamentally free.
Okay, now this is the key. This is the big reveal, so to speak. We've seen the problem, a world where motives are questionable and institutions feel controlling. But how does that control actually work? What's the secret mechanism that keeps the whole system running?
And according to this philosophy, the mechanism is, well, it's deceptively simple. It's the way we're trained to see the world in these simple opposing pairs: God and demon, day and night, good and bad. We're conditioned to split everything into two neat little boxes with nothing in between. And there it is, stated as plainly as can be. It's just a binary classification like day and night. The idea here is that even our most profound concepts, God and demons, are just labels. They're simple categories, no different from day and night, created to take this messy, complicated world and cram it into an overly simple box. This tool even gets a name: a binary classification algorithm. It's described as this kind of mental program, one that's used to cheat and control people. By forcing you to choose between just two options, A or B, it stops you from seeing all the nuance, all the complexity, all the other possibilities that exist in the gray areas. It's basically a trap for your mind.
So, what's the way out? Well, it's not some complicated plan or a 10-step program. According to the author, it's much simpler than that. The solution is just awareness. The final warning is simple. Be careful. Just be careful of this trap. The first step to getting out of it is just knowing it's there. To be on the lookout anytime someone presents the world to you in simple black and white.
And that really is where this philosophy leaves us. It tears down our reality. It questions our institutions. It points out this mental trap that we can all fall into. But it leaves the next step up to us. It challenges us to think for ourselves. Which leads to one last big question. If we reject these simple binaries, what are we left with? If we stop seeing the world as just good or bad, day or night, what other possibilities, what new complexities, and what other truths are waiting for us in that space in between?